A Chinese startup just claimed something that was supposed to be impossible. It says it built working chips without the one machine the West uses to contain China. No deep ultraviolet lithography, no ASML, none of it. For years, the logic was simple. Cut off the machines, and you cut off the chips. That was the whole export control strategy. This claim, if it holds, pokes a hole in that wall. And here is the strange part. The method they used was written off years ago. The industry called it a dead end. Now, a company you have never heard of says that dead end went into mass production. Let me give you the hard facts first. The company is called Prinano. It sits in Hangzhou, and it was founded back in 2017. On June 5th, it posted on WeChat that it had validated mass production of photonic chips, not in a lab, on full 8-inch wafers. It says it did this while completely avoiding deep ultraviolet lithography. It worked with a firm called Shenzhen Litra Technology to pull it off, and it claims the cost is roughly 1/10 of a normal process. That is a 90% cut, if the number is real. Now hold that number in your head, 90%, because in this industry, cost is the whole war. Whoever makes a chip cheaper does not just save money. They reset the floor for everyone else. A 90% cut is not a discount. It is a different game entirely. So how does this actually work? A normal chip is printed with light. Machines from ASML fire deep ultraviolet beams through some of the most complex optics ever built. Those machines cost hundreds of millions of dollars each, and China cannot freely buy the most advanced ones. That is the choke point. That is the leash. Control the machine, and you control who gets to build the future. That has been the American bet for years now, and it has mostly worked. Whole Chinese projects stalled for want of a single tool. Prinano skipped the light entirely. Its tool does not project a pattern. It presses one. Think of a stamp pushed into soft wax. A mold carved with nanoscale features gets pressed into a resist layer on the wafer. The pattern transfers by contact, not by beam. This is called Nanoimprint lithography. The company brands its version the PLS vacuum air cushion system. Here is the twist Prinano adds. Older stamping tools press one small zone at a time. Prinano says it presses the entire wafer in one shot. It uses a cushion of air to spread the force evenly. Even pressure means fewer flaws. One press means faster output. That is the whole pitch. Now, the part most headlines are missing. This idea is not new at all. Nanoimprint has existed for more than 20 years. For most of that time, it failed to break into real chip production. The defects were the killer. When a tool physically touches a wafer, it risks tiny flaws. On advanced logic chips, those flaws are fatal. So the field mostly gave up on the dream, until Canon, the camera company, shipped a serious Nanoimprint machine in 2023. Even then, adoption stayed slow. The big fabs stuck with light. Nobody expected the next move to come from a small Chinese startup instead. So why did a startup crack it first? Stay with me. The answer is not about a better machine. It is about choosing a smarter battle. Translation for anyone who remembers the export control headlines. The West locked the front door. It controlled the light-based machines, but it never really guarded the back door. Everyone assumed the back door led nowhere. And now we reach the clever part of Prinano's choice. It is not trying to make the chips inside your phone. It is not chasing the most advanced logic. It is making photonic chips. These move light instead of electricity. They power fiber optics, data center links, sensors, and LiDAR. These are the chips that let data centers talk at the speed of light. They are the eyes inside self-driving cars. Why does that matter so much? Because photonic chips are the perfect target for this method. Their structures repeat: waveguides, gratings, ring resonators. They sit on a single layer. They do not need the brutal multi-layer alignment that logic chips demand. A stamp is ideal for that. The exact weakness that killed Nanoimprint on logic chips barely matters here. So Prinano did not fight the technology's flaw. It walked around it. It picked the one product category where stamping actually wins. The company also makes some bold technical claims. It says it holds residual layer variation below 2 nanometers across the wafer. It says its throughput beats Canon's step and repeat approach because it presses the whole wafer at once. It even claims it can reach features below 10 nanometers. If all of that is true, this is not a toy. Now, some honesty, because this is not a clean victory lap. Prinano released almost no proof. There are no published yield rates, no defect densities, no production volumes, no named customers. And no independent third party has verified any of it. The only source so far is the company's own post. That is a real gap, and it matters. In semiconductors, a press release is not a product. Plenty of breakthroughs have died between the announcement and the warehouse. Validated on paper is not the same as wafers shipping at scale. So treat the 90% figure as an ambition, not a receipt. Hold it loosely until someone outside the company confirms it. But here is why the story still matters. Even with every caveat stacked on top, the strategic logic is sound. The export controls were built to block light-based lithography. They were never designed to block a stamp. If a Chinese firm can feed its own photonic chip demand without touching ASML, one pressure point quietly loses its grip, and export controls work on logic chips, not photonics. The rules never fully covered the path Prinano chose to take. And photonics is not a sideshow. It is becoming the backbone of data centers and AI networking. The connections between chips are turning into light. Whoever controls cheap photonic manufacturing controls a slice of the AI buildout that almost nobody is watching closely. Think about where the money is flowing. Every AI cluster needs faster links between chips. Copper is running out of room. Light is the next wire. And right now, the firms that print that light are few. A cheap new source changes the math for everyone in the room. It changes it most for the side that was being squeezed the hardest. So picture the next few years. Demand for optical interconnects is exploding. The wires inside data centers are hitting their limit. Light is the clear way forward. And the cheapest way to stamp out those light-carrying chips might now sit inside a country. The controls were meant to slow down. Step back and see the shape of it. This is analysis now, not settled fact. The real signal is not one startup's claim. It is the direction of travel. When you wall off one path, you push your rival to hunt for another. Pressure does not stop development. It just reroutes it into places you forgot to guard. Here is what nobody noticed. First, the West optimized its entire control strategy around a single technology, light-based lithography, and a single company that makes the best machines. Second, the alternative everyone dismissed for 20 years just became the most convenient way around that wall in the exact category where it works best. And third, the breakthrough did not target the chips we argue about on the evening news. It targeted the invisible plumbing of the AI era, where almost nobody is keeping score. That is the move that quietly rewrites the map. Not loud, not flashy, just a stamp pressed in a corner of the industry the controls forgot to cover. If this story gave you a new way to see the chip war, subscribe now, because we track the moves that don't make the headlines, the shifts that rewrite global power before the mainstream catches on.